It's been a little over a week since my tooth extraction, so I want to start kind of keeping track of how things are going. So, first off, very obvious, I do have a denture, which I can just pop in and kind of need for easy pronunciation. Does help my pronunciation of THs, obviously, but it's also a little bit weird because they close the gap in my front teeth and means that the denture is kind of right in the center of my face instead of where the tooth should be. But it's only for a little while and only for pronunciation purposes, so I guess that's fine. Background first, about 12, 13 years ago, I was playing tag with kids, ran face first into an iron pole, and chipped the front tooth. About 5 years ago, that crowned tooth had to get a root canal, and then earlier this year, that root canal failed, or probably failed before that, but had to be removed because it was infected and had a giant abscess in it and was starting to eat into the bone, which is not good. So the entire process will probably take about a year from the extraction to the final implant. Depends on a lot of things. So step one was the extraction. The tooth had to come out. And then they're going to give me 6 months basically to heal, to see how things are going. Hopefully the bone will regenerate enough that the implant can be put in cleanly. After 6 months, there's a CT scan to assess the state of the bone, how much bone is there, the thickness, things like that, and they'll determine if I need a pre-implant bone graft, if I can get a bone graft with the implant, or if there's enough to just put the implant in as is. Now, the dentist that I'm working with did not want to do a bone graft in the socket for the socket prevention. Not entirely sure why, but it's one of those things where he's the doctor, I'm not, so I'm just sort of hoping. He says he prefers to avoid bone grafts in general. He's not sure of their long-term efficacy or something like that. So gum grafts are another possibility that he's brought up, but we'll see kind of what happens in 6 months. So first it was the extraction. 2 weeks after the extraction, and then 2 weeks after that, so a month after the extraction, I'll have 2 follow-up visits just to check the fit of the denture, make sure that it's working right and still fits with the healed gum. Hopefully on my first visit I can get it down a little bit because it's the right length, but it's supposed to be kind of angled this way, so if it's this way it's a bit too long. But can't really fix that because insurance won't pay for another denture for another 6 months, so the fact that they messed it up, I guess, is just something I have to deal with. Typical Japanese healthcare system. So after that, is that the CT scan? After the implant, I have to go back, I think it's once a week for a month, to check for infections in that, since obviously you can't feel infections in your bone. And then 6 months after that, I go back for the final cap part of the implant to be put in. And hopefully that's it. But I said it'll be a year-long process, so I want to sort of keep track of things so I can kind of put it together, know where I'm coming from, where I'm going, just because I wasn't able to find any information about anyone in my age group going through anything like this. Obviously, most of the information for tooth implants and things like that is for more older people, and again, it's often for molars and back teeth. So I do know people in my age group with molar implants and things like that, but no one dealing with a front tooth, which is obviously much more visible, much bigger deal. You actually need the denture on there just for pronunciation, things like that, which you don't need for a molar, obviously. But hopefully everything will turn out fine. We shall see. But I just want to sort of keep track of what's going on. Just vlog it. Might as well. The healthcare system does not pay for implants in Japan, so the general cost is between about 40 and 50 mon, but it can be up to as much as 80 mon depending on how much the different dentists charge you, how much other extra things you need. So 40 mon is 400,000 yen, about $2,800 on your low end, and then on the higher end you're looking about closer to, so it'd be about twice that, so about $5,500 or something like that. So about, I think about 4,000 is not unusual in the US. So I'm not sure if this price is better just because of the weaker yen at this point with the contrast, or how that works out in general, but the extraction part is covered by insurance at least. So the extraction and the denture was all covered for about 5,000 yen, $35, to get the tooth extracted, to get the denture. And then the other payments will be next year in that 6 month period between getting the initial CT scan and implant and then before the final cap or actual piece is put on. That'll be the between 400,000 and 800,000. And my dentist said looking about 400,000, max 500,000, since they do a set price for everything. If you need a bone graft, that's in there. If you need different kinds of gum grafts, things like that, that's all included in the price. Whereas some dentists, obviously, they'll piecemeal it. And there's also, of course, different kinds of final caps, like full ceramic or titanium backed or things like that. So I'm just getting the one that is provided at the initial price point. Probably I'll look at options later, but just considering the price, most of them are going to be decent. It's just going to be a question of how it looks, and hopefully I can get one that looks semi-decent and doesn't look too weird. But we'll see. For now, the denture looks okay, as long as you can't see the top part, since there are the hooks around the side teeth. See? Those can be connected to any teeth in your mouth, depending on the way your mouth is set up. If you have a bigger gap in your back teeth, they'll do a fuller denture that connects to the back teeth. I just have big gaps in the front teeth, but my back teeth are very close together, so it just made sense to hook it on the two teeth right next to it. It does affect my bite. I cannot eat easily with it in, which is why I'm hoping to get it shaved down a little bit on my first check, just because I think the left side teeth, my back teeth, can contact, but my right side, the front teeth contact too quickly that they can't really contact. So it does make eating a little bit difficult, and since it's just on the two front teeth, it can come loose relatively easily. So it is a little bit dangerous to eat with it in, just the way mine is. It's not true for all of them, definitely. So full-tone dentures, they'll shave part of the teeth to make sure that it clicks in nice and isn't moving. But since this is a temporary 1-year denture, they didn't shave the teeth. They're not doing anything like that. So it's not as secure, but I don't usually wear it unless I need to talk to pronounce things, which is unfortunately, of course, a lot of time at work. But other than that, I'm just trying to get used to not wearing it around, and taking it in and out when eating is more of a pain than I feel like it's really worth. So anytime I can get away with not wearing it, that's what I'm going with. So this is September 14th, 2023, approximately 1 week after the extraction, which happened on September 4th, 2023, and we'll see how it goes.